Hello, children. I'm Vicky Carlton, and I'm going to read you the last part of the Easter story. And this is the really joyful, happy part of the Easter story. It's called God's Wonderful Surprise. God's Wonderful Surprise. And it is taken from the Jesus Storybook Bible. Jesus's friends were sad because remember in the last story, he'd been crucified, been put on the cross. They would never see their best friend again. He'd been put in the tomb. Remember, a big stone had been put over the tomb. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer? The King God had promised. It wasn't meant to end like this. Yes, but whoever said anything about the end? Just before sunrise on the third day, God sent an earthquake and an angel from heaven. When the guards saw the angel, they fell down with fright. The angel rolled the huge stone away, sat on top of it, and waited. At the first glimmer of dawn, as the sun came up, Mary Magdalene and other women headed to the tomb to wash Jesus's body. The early morning sun slanted through the ancient olive trees, drops of dew glittering on leaves and grasses, little tears everywhere. The friends walked quietly along the hilly path through the olive groves until they reached the tomb and immediately noticed something very odd. And you can see that behind me. It was wide open. They peered through the opening into the dark tomb. But wait, Jesus' body had gone. And something else. A shining man was there with clothes made from lightning. Don't be scared, the angel said. But they couldn't help it. They screamed anyway. The angel asked them, "What are you doing here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people." The women couldn't speak. "Jesus isn't dead anymore," he said. "He's alive again." And their hearts leapt. And then the angel laughed with such gladness that they felt for a moment as if they had woken up from a nightmare. So they started to feel, what is really going on here? The other women rushed home, but Mary stayed behind. How could it be true? Jesus was definitely dead. How could he be alive? Just then Mary heard someone else in the garden. Perhaps it's the gardener, she thought. He'll know where Jesus' body is. "I don't know where Jesus is," Mary said urgently. "I can't find him." But it was all right. Jesus knew where she was, and he had found her. Mary. Only one person said her name like that. She could hear her heart thumping. She turned around. She could just make out a figure. She shaded her eyes to see and thought she was dreaming. But she wasn't dreaming. She was seeing Jesus. Mary fell to the ground. Sudden tears filled her eyes and great sobs shook her whole body. Tears of joy. And all she wanted in that moment was to cling to Jesus and never let him go. "You'll be able to hold on to me later, Mary," Jesus said gently, "but always be close to me. But now go and tell the others that I'm alive." Well, Mary ran and ran and ran all the way to the city. Can you imagine how happy she felt? She had never run so fast or so far in all her life. She felt like she could run forever. She didn't even feel like her feet were touching the ground. The sun seemed to be dancing and gleaming and bounding across the sky, racing with her and shining brighter than she could ever remember. in the clear, fresh air. And it seemed to her that morning as she ran almost as if the whole world had been made anew, almost as if the whole world was singing for joy. The trees, the tiny sounds in the grass, the birds, her heart. Was God really making everything sad come untrue? Was he making even death come untrue? She couldn't wait to tell Jesus' friends. They won't believe it, she laughed. She was right, of course. They didn't believe it in the beginning. So isn't that such an incredibly happy, joyful story? And when you wake up on Easter Sunday and you crack open an Easter egg, you'll find that most Easter eggs are hollow inside, and that's to remind you of the empty tomb. So as you're eating your chocolate, you can think of the joy that Mary must have felt when she saw Jesus standing there. And think of the joy that we have in our hearts because Jesus is with us all the time. What a happy story. And thank you for listening so well, and a very, very happy Easter to you. Bye.
For more of Victoria Carlton's tips, go to YouTube and search Victoria Carlton Programs. Victoria's products are available on Teachers Pay Teachers. They cover literacy, emotional intelligence, and Sunday school lessons. Victoria's website address, blog, and email address are on the screen in front of you. Victoria Carlton reserves the right of copyright on all her products.